Hello, everyone, and welcome to the War Eagle Weekly Podcast. I am your host, Cameron Kirsch, and I'm joined by my brother, Joshua Kirsch. How you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good. My head's a little cold.
Yes. I'm still not used to it. But hey, to each his own. You do you,
Yep.
man. You do you.
I don't look too bad. That's all that matters. My wife says she'll still stay married to me.
Well, I guess that's all that matters, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. We have a lot of basketball talk, but let's go ahead and start the podcast off with an article that Bruce Fieldman of The Athletic came out with his top 25 college football coaches, and Hugh Freeze is number 23 on that list, Josh. Is this a
Man.
valid spot for him?
No, it is not. I think he's about 10 to 13 spots too low. He is definitely better than Steve Sarkisian, Mike Norvell. Who is that? Jeff Brom. Are you kidding me? At number 13? Get out of here. Mark Stoops. Yeah, he's about 10 to 13 spots too low on that list. He should definitely be in the top 15 and top 12.
I mean, honestly, uh, I'm a little frustrated because I thought you were going to be like, hey, he's exactly where he needs to be, maybe a little bit higher. And I was going to be the one saying that he needed to go higher. But as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking, he's kind of right there where he needs to be, really. He is, it's a, what have you done for me lately? And last year being as bad as it was, I think there is some validity to, hey, okay, let's take him down a peg. Now, I think he could have been a little bit higher, but I think he's roughly right there where he should be. But some of the things that I didn't like was here. I'm just gonna go down this list, and I'm just gonna stop at some of the coaches that I think is just absolutely ridiculous, or stuff that we want to talk about. So number one, no surprise here, Kirby Smart. It doesn't. I mean, nobody's gonna disagree with us here.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
Number two, Dabo. Um, okay, all right, number two, sure, why
That's a
not?
deserved spot right there, man.
Yeah. Number three kind of surprised me. He's one of my favorite coaches right now in college football. To be perfectly honest, is Lance Leopold at number three, and I mean
Yeah, I
he's
think he's
just.
rightfully slated for sure.
I think so too. I know a lot of his wins have come in the, division. He was Division One, but it was there at where was it? Um, South Dakota State or North Dakota State. So, but I'm okay with it. But number four, Kalen DeBoer. Okay, yeah, he went to the
The
national title
biggest
last year.
joke on the list, man.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it doesn't make any sense
Biggest
whatsoever.
joke.
I'm sorry, you went to the
He's had
national
two
title.
seasons in D1. 2 seasons in D1, everything else is in NAIA. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, like he has a record of 104 and 12, but 85% of those wins are in the NAIA.
Yeah,
It's just a complete joke that he's at number
Sioux
4.
Falls is where he got those wins. It's ridiculous. It's 67 of them.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So then after DeBoer, who I maintain is a bore, you have Ryan Day at number five, which
Boo.
I mean he's only got a 56-8 record, but I mean he's done a lot with that
Only, are you
team.
kidding? 56-8 is great.
I
All of
know,
his
but
wins have been in D1 at Ohio State.
right, but that's what I'm saying. It's Ohio State. It kind of plays itself. They kind of do
Yeah.
their own self. And any win that he gets this year, I guarantee you he's not going to get as much credit as maybe he has in the past because you got Chip Kelly there. Either way,
So you're going to give the same credit to Dalen or Kalen DeBoer if he starts winning at Alabama? Because Alabama really plays itself. Like the,
well,
the name is Alabama.
yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Either way, I thought Ryan
I
Day
mean,
was. I thought he was okay in the top 10. I just don't know. I think he might have been
yeah,
a
I,
little
I
too high.
agree.
Because I didn't agree with the fact that he was ahead of Brian Kelly, who is number six.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That
I think Brian Kelly should be in top five for
we,
sure.
we just got
He hasn't
here
really won anything, but his record is just outrageous.
304 to 104 and two ties. Yeah, I don't
Yep.
care what Ryan Day's percentage is, but only having less than 70 games as a head coach, that's a problem. Uh, when
Let's
the
see. Let's see what Ryan Day looks like after he coaches 500 games like Brian Kelly has.
Right, and he's like gained a southern accent or something. So,
Yeah,
um,
right.
number seven, James Franklin. I think this is a perfect spot for him. He's only proven how good of a coach he is when he was at Vandy, and then he's been solid at Penn
He kind of
State.
did Vandy dirty though.
No, it's Vandy. You get
I guess.
you get where you can, which he definitely did. He wasn't going any higher, and then you just get out of there and go to Penn State. The end. But number eight, I think you and I both can agree that number eight is one of those coaches that is one of the most underrated coaches in all of college football.
100%.
Kyle Whittingham.
100%.
What did I tell you
Yes.
whenever Alabama was searching for their head coach? I said anybody but Kyle Whittingham. I was terrified.
Yep. You and I are in agreement. I figured Kyle Whittingham would have been one of the first names that they called, but I didn't see any reports that he was even in consideration, which was shocking to me.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think we're better off.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Stay at
Alabama
Utah,
fans
bro.
would have been better off if they went with him because he's just produced top in talent and teams for a long time. Number nine, Lincoln Riley. Okay, yeah, he should be top 10. I mean, those
Yeah.
Heisman winner after Heisman winner after Heisman finalist. I mean,
Yeah.
so the guy can coach. And another Heisman winner and the number one overall pick. Then you got here's where I think the list starts going a little haywire.
Stupid. It gets stupid.
Mike Norvell had a great team last year and had a great.
Sure.
They did a great job last year, but he's not a top 10 coach, not yet.
No. Nah, absolutely not.
Number 11, Steve Sarkisian. What people are seeing right now, Josh, is I chose specifically when he was on Alabama's staff before he was the offensive coordinator the year before, and he was sitting up in the booth
As an analyst,
and the camera
picking
caught
his
him
nose.
picking his nose. Yeah, but I mean the guy's a joke. Yeah, he's done pretty good at Texas. It's Texas, you know. You have to be pretty shitty in order to screw that up, and so. Let's see if he can get back to the playoffs. Let's see if he can keep it up. But
We'll see.
I
I will
really-
say though, he did benefit from coaching under Nick Saban.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he did.
A lot of
benefit
coaches
from
did.
that.
A lot of coaches did.
Yes.
So number 12, Chris Kleiman. This is a little high for him. He's a good coach.
I would agree.
He's a good coach, and he's done a really good job at at a school that is not known for football. So I commend him
Sure.
to that. But most of his wins, he was the one at North Dakota State. Sorry, most of his wins have come from North Dakota State. Which I mean, he was a phenomenal coach there, and I think he is a good coach. But he hasn't done enough in big time football to garner this ranking. And then this is
Yeah, I
the
agree
one.
with you. He's top.
Go
He's
ahead.
top 20 for sure, not top 15.
Yeah. Number 13. This is where I just lost my mind and almost vomited. Jeff Brom. What? Number 13, 66 and 44.
Less than
Like-
500 on his resume, and he's top 15 coach. Get the hell out.
It doesn't-
You're smoking
it's
crack
stupid.
at this point.
Yeah. So
He's smoking crack.
and Bruce Feldman is a well-respected journalist. But he is putting some weird coaches up here.
And he's drinking the sauce, that's for sure.
Number 14, Mark Stoops. I think it's a little high, just a little though. I think Mark Stoops is a good, solid coach. He's done
He
a
only has
lot.
8 more wins than losses.
No, I get
This is a
that.
terrible spot for
I-
Mark
I
Stoops.
get
bro.
that.
Terrible spot.
But well, no, I disagree with that because you look at Kentucky. It was a basketball school, never did anything in football. They were a laughing stock. Kentucky is anything but a laughing stock in football now. They put a competitive.
They're still chuckleable.
No, I don't even think that. They put a competitive team on the field, and he is doing good there. I think he's a little high, maybe 3 or 4 spots too high, but he deserves to be in the top 20 in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Not top 15 though. No
No,
way.
no. Kirk Ferentz there in Iowa. I probably butchered his last name, but
Kirk Ferentz.
Ferentz, yeah, it's a very solid coach. So I can't argue with his position on this list at all. I think he is a
It's a good
top
spot.
15. Yeah, he's constantly producing NFL talent and just with very low, star recruits. He's not bringing in these 5-star
Those
recruits.
Iowa tight ends though, bro.
Oof,
Couldn't get better than Iowa,
no.
man. They're tight end you.
Dave Clawson at number 16 there at Wake Forest.
Freaking joke.
I know. I think it's okay. I think 16 again is too high. I think he deserves to be in the top
Yeah.
25, but not 16. Josh
Heck no.
Heupel. I think
He's actually a little too low in my opinion.
I think barely though. I think he's in a good spot. Maybe one or two spots. I don't know.
Like I said, I think a little low. I would say top 15. I think he's an up and comer in the freaking SEC and has done nothing
Yeah.
but good things at Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think he should be a couple spots higher, definitely above Dave Clawson and Mark Stoops.
Yeah. I agree. Matt Rule is number 18. I'm sorry. This is a joke, right? Like seriously,
58 and 70.
he put him on the list just to I'm not going to say the curse word I'm thinking, but he's screwing with Nebraska at this point, right? Because he had one good year. One.
Yeah.
Even if you don't
He did get the
count,
number one recruit though.
I don't care. Even if you don't count the shit show that he was in the NFL, his record is abysmal. He had one good year. I'm sorry. It was stupid.
Yeah.
He is not a top 25
I agree
coach.
with you. No, not yet. Definitely not yet.
Number 19, I think he's a little too low on this list. Luke Fickle, there at Wisconsin, moved over from Cincinnati. He did a lot at Cincinnati.
Yeah, he did. I would agree with you.
Number 20, the I'm a man, I'm 40, Mike Gundy. Um, I think I'm okay with him being in the top 20. He's constant.
I'd be okay with if he was a little higher too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody could argue with that. 21. I'm really happy that he was not a top 20 coach. Lane Kiffin sitting at number 21. You know, 22.
A little high in my opinion.
22. What?
I can't believe this dude is above Hugh Freeze.
Jonathan Smith. I'm sorry, at Michigan State, 34 and 35 is his record. What's going on here? And then Hugh Freeze sitting at 23, which again I think he's right where he kind of needs to be. He's got a great record. He did a lot at Liberty, playing lesser competition. Now he did play some big games at Liberty. He had them ranked. He brought in good talent. He produced a NFL quarterback. He produced NFL quarterbacks at Ole Miss, and he brought Ole Miss into modern day relevance. So, I'll give him credit there, but he hasn't done a lot, and last year was rough. Let's be honest. Outside of the recruiting class he did, it was a rough year for Hugh Freeze last year.
I mean, I feel like it was a solid first year after taking over from Mr. Potato Head. I think it was a solid first year, and especially what he did in the small recruiting window in terms of the portal before the season actually began. That right there, every single day, it was one or two popping. And when's the last time you saw that happen for any coach, let alone an Auburn coach?
Yeah, and like I said, I think he's in a good spot. I don't agree with you that he's a top 15 coach. Not yet. Not yet. I need to see it. I need to see it on the field. Because I think too much of what coaches are, it's about what's on the field. Because if not, and all you're doing is bringing in great talent, then it's just another Auburn season. Because we've had coaches in the past that they bring in great recruiting classes and then do nothing with them. Let's be honest.
Yes, Mazan, we're talking about you.
Yeah. And then number 24 or 25, Jed Fish there at Washington. You would have thought that Washington would have been a more high profile position than going with a coach that has a losing record in the top 25. I'm sorry. Did he just like throw a dart at pictures on the wall and was like, I guess I'm gonna put him on the list. And
Had to have.
and then number 25, he was running out of options, and so he went with Rich Rodriguez. Uh, you know, 10 years ago he was a good coach. 13 years ago he was a
Yeah,
good
sure.
coach, but not anymore. So, but you really think that Hugh Freeze is in a good spot, or it deserves to be a top 15 coach in today's
Absolutely.
college football?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I'm thinking of what he did at Ole Miss. That he turned them in from a bottom feeder into a solid contender and a solid matchup every single weekend when he was at Ole Miss. I mean, and then he goes to Liberty and turns them into a ranked winning program. It's just
Yeah.
you don't look at their previous season. Look at their resume and what they've accomplished. I mean, how many coaches on this list have beaten Nick Saban more than Hugh Freeze?
Mm, yeah, I don't think Kirby Smart's done it twice, right? So he's
Yeah,
tied.
Dabo is the probably
And
the
Dabo.
other
Yeah.
only one closest. Dabo obviously owned Nick Saban, but I mean, come on, you got to get some sort of credit for beating the goat more than twice. I think he beat Nick Saban 3 times. It might have been 2 times.
No, I think it was
Regardless,
2 times.
it's not it's not an easy feat whatsoever.
Well, I really want him to be a top 15 coach, and I really hope he is. I just don't see it at this point. So, but
Well, we'll see.
I kind of did lose a little bit of respect for Bruce Feldman in that list. There was too
Yeah, it's
many
it's a
coaches that
ridiculous
did not
list.
deserve to be on that list. Well, moving on. Speaking of recruiting, we're going to do a short, quick update on the 2025 recruiting class. Josh, we had some bad news this last week in recruiting. Go ahead and catch us all up.
Yeah, there's not much in the recruiting world. The only thing really to report is that 2025 defensive end Antonio Coleman originally flipped from Bama to Auburn, but is now flipped from Auburn back to Alabama and is just on his knees for Kalen DeBoer. So it's
Okay,
really
here,
early
real
in
quick.
in
I'm
the
gonna stop
recruiting
you there.
session.
I'm gonna stop you there. Come on,
Come
dude. The
on,
guy has flipped
come
twice.
on.
He's probably gonna flip again. Alabama's gonna suck it up this year. He's not gonna go to Alabama. Let's not insult the kid. I mean, come on. He's an
I'm
he's
not
an
insulting
18 year
him,
old
but dude,
kid.
he was glazing Kalen DeBoer on like why he flipped back like hardcore. So I mean, like I said,
Yeah,
it's early in the recruiting season. We got a long time until early National
yeah.
Signing Day, so we'll see what happens. But not
He's a
many
high
times
school
does a
kid.
recruit flip from one team to another and then flip from that team back to the first team he was recruited to.
And
Not many people do that.
in modern recruiting, you're dealing with teenagers. In modern recruiting, it's happening all the time, I think. So I don't think we have to be worried about it. Any other updates?
Not really. We had a
Okay.
couple of people. I don't have their names off the top of my head. We had a couple people visiting for basketball games for the basketball team. I don't know about football. I don't know if recruits are allowed to go on visits just yet. They may have since spring training's already started. I
Yeah,
don't I don't
I
know
think they are.
off the top of my head, but there's not too much to report other than Auburn's in the thick of it with a lot of talent.
Yeah, I hopefully we land a replacement for losing that defensive end. So, um,
Now we will. No worries.
let's go ahead and transition into the bulk of our episode, basketball. We got a lot to talk about. We held off on recording until after the Georgia game, so we are going to talk about the last three games, everybody. But before we get into the games, there was some breaking news this morning on College Game Day. It was announced that there is going to be a new in-season NIL tournament, and it is going to include 8 teams and going to be played in Las Vegas. Josh, what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited for an in-season tournament? Is this something that we wanna see? They're following the coattails of the NBA with the in-season tournament, which I guess was a success. But what are your thoughts on
I mean, there's not a whole lot of information out on it. I'm intrigued by it for sure
Yeah.
because it's an interesting thing to do, especially with the new NIL stuff. But I mean, I don't think it should be limited to 8 or 16 teams like they're saying. I think it should be open to a lot more than that, and I don't think.
Well, that's the
Actually, I
NCAA
don't know. Like,
tournament in March. I don't need another November Madness tournament. I
well, I
don't
mean,
need. I think
it
16 is a
adds
little too
more
high.
intrigue to the league.
I think 8 is a good
No,
number.
no
I
way,
think 16 is too
no
high.
way.
16
Give
is
me more.
way
Give
too
me
high.
more competition,
There
bro. I don't want any more of these small in season tournaments where they go travel overseas and they're playing these random ass teams. I want more competition. I want more for these guys to fight for while they're still in college, man. It's just I want more of it. I think more would boost ratings for college basketball. I'm not saying that they're low right now, but I think they'd go a lot higher if there was another high stakes tournament, you know?
oh
Because then you're everyone wants a piece of that $1 million that every team's
yeah.
guaranteed.
And 2
So I
million to
mean
the
that's a
winner.
lot to play for.
2 million. And this is not the
Yeah.
schools receiving this money like all the other in-season tournaments. This
No,
is
it is to the schools. It goes to the athletic program.
right,
It's
but
divvied up between
they
how
pay
the
the
schools want to
players.
divvy it up.
Yeah, but it has to
Yeah.
go to the players. That is a stipulation within these rules I was reading today. But I think it's a joke of the teams that they're going after. Um, Alabama's reported to be one of them. You and I both know we both hate Alabama, and so I'm going to find every reason I can in the book to criticize them being involved in anything. I just,
Preach, brother.
I mean, there is no other team in the SEC that has won more games in the last 5 years than Auburn. Why are they going for
None.
Alabama? Because Nate
It's because
Oates
it's
looks
Alabama.
better in a suit. I mean, it's kind of true. Are they
I don't know, man. Bruce looks sharp in those orange suits at Tennessee. It doesn't get much better than that.
not Tennessee orange? I disagree. It was kind of vomit inducing. But I mean, all in all, I am happy that the athletes themselves are going to have a chance to make some more money, because they went so long with being undervalued, and so I think it's nice to see that they're getting their value. So I can appreciate that, but I am not a fan of the fact that Alabama is included in this, and I also am trying to figure out where did Florida Atlantic come from in all of this, like.
Yeah, they said they're going after some of the sport's best teams, and Florida Atlantic is in there. Like,
Yeah,
what I can
and San
understand,
Diego
San
State.
Diego State, St. John's. I can understand San Diego State more than Florida Atlantic.
Okay, yeah,
Everyone else on there makes way more sense than Florida Atlantic.
yeah.
That one's just the
I
most
mean,
random team they could have possibly
they had
put
a
up
good
there.
tournament run last year. Florida Atlantic did. That's the right Florida team, right? It wasn't Florida International or something. One of those Florida small
Shit,
schools did it, but
that
I
was a
think it was
year ago,
FAU.
man.
I know. Still, but okay. So done with that. Let's move on. Let's talk about some Auburn basketball. Let's get into the revenge game itself. Mississippi State. Josh, let's talk about this game. What are your thoughts on it, and what do you think?
Man, I'm so glad we got the friggin' get back on Mississippi State, bro. We held them to 35% 3 point and 39% field goal percentage, and Auburn shot 50 and 47. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that was a perfect game, a perfect warm up game before March Madness, and it just continued on. That was just a really good game for Auburn to friggin' win, especially after that tough loss to Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a tough loss, but you and I both came out of that game feeling pretty good, and when
Yep.
Connect is scoring as many points as he is, it's hard to beat them, but it's not impossible to beat them, as Kentucky showed us today.
And
So,
you can't do
but
much when the team has the next Doncic on their team.
uh,
You just
that's what
can't.
you keep saying. I'm not completely sold. I think the kid's pretty good, but I don't know if he's a Doncic yet. So,
Watch his
but
film, bro. It's
let's
ridiculously similar.
let's stop talking about Dalton Connect. Let's get back to Mississippi State. Um, do you have any bad in this game? Because it was a pretty good get right game, but I felt like there was some
I
bad
do
stuff that
have
happened.
I do have a pretty glaring bad in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Baker Mazara's antics in that game. I
Yeah.
was a little disappointed. I know he's like a fiery guy and really passionate about the sport,
Yeah.
which all power to him,
And
be passionate and fiery. But
and let's be
those
honest,
are just
you and him have this huge bromance going on right now, and you guys correspond back and forth. Nothing on the professional level, just more of a fan, and so it's
yeah,
I would imagine it's very hard for you to criticize him. But I gotta agree. I mean, he had 4 turnovers. Was it 4 turnovers? Yeah, and wasn't
yeah,
his
four
another behind the
turnovers.
back pass that he tried?
Yeah, it's just come on, Chad. You got to like practice that more because I love to see you trying to make those highlights, but
Yeah,
practice more of that, please. But
yeah.
I mean, you can't be throwing balls at players after they
Mm,
foul you after such an emotional disconnect with the refs on the other end. It's just, I'm not saying that Chad Bigman deserved all 5 of those
oh
fouls
hell
because
no.
that ref, bro, he
He was
was
out to
on
get him.
Chad the entire game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I even messaged Chad. I was like, these refs are out to get you. He's like, I know, man, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He had a great
even he agrees
mentality.
with me.
He
Yeah.
kept his composure for the most part. I feel like he got a little too heated. He is the heart and soul of this team. The team
Yes.
goes as he goes a lot of the times, and he's a big part of why we've won so many games that we have and have looked so good. And he's worked his way into the starting rotation. And I don't know what the qualifications are for sixth man of the year, but I feel like he should win sixth man of the year, and he's going to be a very special player. And so, us criticizing him for this one specific game and these very few moments in that game doesn't make this who he is. But I agree. It was disheartening, and it was uncharacteristic to see him as fired up as he was, because he was
Yeah,
very
it
fired
killed
up.
momentum when we needed it, and ultimately, I don't think it altered the end game in that matchup,
Yeah.
but it's just, I mean, he did get a little smart whenever he was guarding that guy with his hands behind his back. So I mean, I hope
Okay.
to never see that again.
No, okay, you know what? I disagree with that because I loved it. I was praying the whole time. I was like, please, please do not go in, do not go in, do not go in. And when it went in, I was like, damn it, there goes a highlight reel. Um,
Yeah,
because I thought
that's
it
why I'd
was,
say he got a little smart because
I loved
he
it.
got something he wasn't wanting.
I'm so passive aggressive that that's something that I personally would do. He was like, all right, fine. I can't touch the guy. I'll show you. I'll still defend. And I so wanted
Yeah,
it to not go in, or him to block it with like his nose or head or something, you know?
I don't think he's got that big of ups. He's got some
uh,
jumps, but
I don't
man,
know.
like honestly though, how the hell are you going to guard the guy you're on if you
I
can't
get it.
freaking touch him?
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you going to do that? That's the
It's,
stupidest thing I've ever
yeah.
heard a ref say.
Yeah. And it wasn't like he was mugging the guy the whole game. Yeah, it was
No, he
ridiculous.
was playing defense.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing was just ridiculous. So, um, I'm gonna go to one of the other goods that I had. 9 blocks and 8 steals. Talk about
Big time.
ratcheting up the defense, man. It was great to see it. Defense leads to easy offensive buckets. Defense
Big time.
sets the mindset for the team. This is one of the things that I love about a Bruce Pearl team. You know they're going to go out there and give 120% on the defensive front. And I love the fact that he gets players that play defense. And so I'm super happy with the defensive effort in this game.
Oh, it was great. It was a very good defensive game. I mean, a lot of the stats are pretty similar. A lot of stats Mississippi State leads in, especially when it comes to what is that, the points off turnovers, and they tied us in fast break points at
Yeah.
12, and they had more points in the paint and less fouls by one. But where it mattered most, Auburn led in almost every single category where it counted. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a good game. Those 3 Tigers with 2 blocks in
Yeah.
that game. And Janai Broom is not one of those, by the way. It's
Right.
kind of shocking.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Mississippi State is a very talented team and a very good team. They're going to be a hard out in the tournament. Um, so yeah, no. Uh, One of my other goods, I just wanted to bring this up because I think it tells you the mindset of the team, and it shows why we've seen this improvement. It seems like Coach Pearl has kind of turned it up a little bit on his coaching. This quote just is awesome. He said he was quoted as saying, "It's time to make shots, not take shots," and I just absolutely love that quote because that has been something that we have been praying for all year long. And this team has really gotten into a good rhythm shooting the ball at home and away. And so that was one of my goods. Um, I do have a couple of bads. What about you? Do you have any other bads or anything else you want to
I do
highlight?
have a bad actually. It's one that I'm a little irritated with. Aiden Holloway in that game
That's
took
one of mine.
one shot and missed it, and he only had one assist.
Yep.
I mean, I can understand him not doing that, especially with Bruce Pearl saying it's time to make shots, not take shots. But
Mm-hmm.
you're the starting point guard, bro. You got to
Yeah.
take more shots than one,
Yeah.
and you got to get more assists than one.
Yep.
I mean, it's
He
just
did have two steals
I want him. I want
and one
nothing. He
rebound.
did, but I
So,
want
but he was a
nothing more in the
non-factor.
world than for him to succeed.
We need him to succeed. We
Yes.
need him. We need Aiden Holloway to go off. I want nothing more than that. So, but I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Anything else?
But the emergence of Denver Jones that makes it a little easier with Aiden Holloway not shooting as
Yeah.
much. But Denver Jones has just been on fire in that game. He could just continue. Finished with 15 points on 3 of 5
Yeah.
from deep, and had 4 rebounds, four defensive rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. I mean, he's just been huge. That's one of my glaring goods. Is just his emergence.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I had a problem with the fact that that we let Mississippi State control the boards. Um, they
Yeah,
were they just completely dominated us on the boards, and that was a problem that this team had on early on in the season, and they really shored it up towards the middle of the season. And so it's been a little while since I've had that criticism and that problem with it, but
they didn't
you
really
know,
dominate the boards. They only out rebounded us by 6. They dominated off offensive boards,
yeah,
but they only out rebounded us by 6. I wouldn't say dominated. They
still
just
it felt like they
rebounded it
did.
more on the offensive end.
Yeah. So, well, let's go ahead and move on to the Missouri game. Um, that one, man, it felt like it was going to be a boat race in the first half, and although Missouri kept it close, and that's actually one of my bads is letting them hang into the game right there in the first quarter or the first half. It's still going into halftime. You kind of felt like they were going to turn it on and really go after it. But
Yeah,
great offensive performance in this game. Um,
great.
I mean, to
You're not
start,
going to beat Auburn when they're shooting 50% plus in a game. You're just not
no,
going to do it. And that's what
unless
they did against Missouri.
unless you have Dalton Connect.
Well, we only shot 45% in that game.
I know, but still, even if we shot, I don't know. Dalton Connect is just on a whole. We're getting back onto that guy. Dang it! He's like Lord Voldemort. I said it in that video. I screwed it all up. But he just is on everybody's mind all the time, and we're all worried about him because he's just sitting there, and you're just waiting for him to kill somebody. Oh
You
man,
know what else everyone's worried about when they watch him play?
what?
Luka Doncic.
Oh my gosh. Um, so in this game, this was in 4 of the last 6 games prior to the Georgia game. We have been shooting 50% or better from the field in 4 of the last 6. Like I talked about, we're getting hot, man, on the offensive side,
It's a
and
good time to get friggin' hot. That's for damn sure.
that's what I'm saying. We needed it. We shot 52.3% from the field. Also, Josh, here I just want to give the team a clap because this is something that I've criticized them on in every game this year. And when we get to the Georgia game, I'm gonna criticize them again. But right now, I'm gonna give them props and I'm gonna give them tons of due, and I appreciate what they did. Thank you for making your free throws. 86, 86.2%. They made 86.2%. I've been saying it all year
Yeah, that's
long. There's
pretty
no
good.
reason.
That's
So
pretty good.
I am totally happy with that. Anything north of 80% for the whole team, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna cry with happiness. And so I absolutely
Yeah,
loved it. Loved it.
they're free.
Yeah, yeah. So why
You
not
gotta
just
make you gotta
capitalize?
make them, bro.
So, um, what about you? What's a negative from this game? Let's see if we can pull out a negative from this game.
Um, let's see here. Allowing, I don't know, allowing Missouri to shoot 88% from free throw. I don't freaking know. It's so hard to come up
How do
with
we
a
stop
bad
them
when you
from
beat a
free
team
throw
by
shooting?
30 points.
It's true.
Don't
It's true.
foul. I don't freaking know, but it's just kind of hard to find a bad when your team wins by
Okay.
27 points.
Yeah. Well, here I have a
It's
bad
just
for you.
really good.
I have a couple of bats here. I'm just gonna ring off this
All right.
first one because again we ended up killing them in the second half. Poor shooting in the first half. We couldn't get a bucket to drop, yeah, from behind the arc. But they adjusted at halftime. They were making their their regular field goals. They were making, and so it brought up our percentage, and we were shooting lights out. So I mean, again, I'm not. This is nitpicky, but in the first half we couldn't hit anything from behind the arc, and so I was glad to see that we kind of moved away from it, and then took advantage of the shots we did make in the second half. Um, but then the worst bad of them all, and I think you're going to agree with me on this, it's got to be the refs.
Oh my
Let me say that
God. Are
again.
you kidding me?
Let me say that again. Everything the refs did was bad, man. It became the ref show in the second
So
half.
bad.
I mean,
It was just so bad. How many reviews do you friggin' need?
well, even the
Honestly.
commentators and even the halftime people were making jokes about, hey, wait, sorry everybody, we need to review this, and then actually reviewing stuff. It was a joke how much they were reviewing, and it
It was a
leads me,
joke of what they were calling too.
yeah, it
How many
was,
times are you going to let Sean East push off on every single drive to the basket?
yeah, it was
Full extension.
pissed me off, man, pissed me off. And so I could not stand anything the refs were doing. And my thing is every fan, yeah, you want the refs to kind of side for you, but ultimately, I just want a consistent game, man. First half, they were
Yeah.
letting them play for the most part. Yeah, they did still review a lot, but they were letting them play in the first half. And then the second half came along, and I felt like I was sitting in front of the TV watching this game draw out, and it felt like we were watching it for 4 hours. It was terrible.
It took so long to
Oh,
finish that damn game,
gosh.
especially on a late tip off. And they do that junk. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Couldn't stand it.
couldn't stand it at all. Um, so that was my bad. But I will say, my last good, um, I, we controlled the paint in this game. So I was criticizing them for what they did, and you can tell it was an emphasis because of the fact that I guess Bruce felt like we were getting out rebounded, and it felt like we were getting dominated in the paint in the last game against Mississippi State. What was it? We had 41 rebounds and 48 points
To
in the
their
paint.
28.
Yeah, that's
That's
domination.
ridiculous.
Domination.
48 points in the paint
Yeah.
is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And let's
Great.
let's be honest. I don't have the quote in front of me, but Bruce even talked about the fact that um, Missouri did not give up in this game. That they haven't been good this year, and they're 0-16 in conference play. 0-17 now after today. Um, so they're bad on that front, but they're not a bad team. They're in games, then they kind of fall out. They didn't give up, and so
They're pretty terrible.
but I still didn't. I'd still watch that game, and I did not see a team that gave up because it was just us executing way more than them.
Yeah,
So,
I mean they didn't give up, but I wouldn't say they're not a bad team because I think they're a really bad team,
so
really bad.
yeah,
We took care of business when we need to take care of business, and we came out 27-point victors. So the hell with Missouri. See you in the tournament maybe.
uh, yeah. So, um, but let's go ahead and move into the bulk of the rest of our show. And what we were really holding off for, we wanted to talk about the Georgia game.
First for War Eagle Weekly, right after the game.
Yes, yes, yes.
This was a good game. It was a fun, competitive match the entire time. I mean, it was just good. We both teams scored 47 in the second half. I think that's like the biggest thing to me,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. I didn't think Georgia scored that much in the second half because Auburn just kept their foot on the pedal and was able to keep it basket for the most part. But the whole game, I was like, holy crap, that Georgia might come back, especially when they had it down to 11 points. I was like, and they kept hack-a-shacking Dylan Cardwell. And I thought Georgia was going to make a sneaky comeback, but they didn't because Auburn took care of friggin' business, and Denver Jones made 7 threes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Dude was on
Just
fire. In fuego, man. I absolutely,
yes, absolutely
just killed it. Just killed it. There in the first half, we had 17 assists on 19 buckets in the first half. That's a season high for this team.
That's insane. Who does that?
We average
Auburn does it.
17 assists a game, and we did it in the first half. And so
I think we finished with like 28 assists, didn't we?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. All 10 players.
29 assists.
Okay.
29 assists from Auburn, 9 from Georgia.
Very nice, very nice. All 10 players that played had scored in the first half, which again is just, it shows you how deep and how talented this team is. I will say though, there was a problem that persisted, and it kind of reared its ugly head in the second half. Georgia shot 48% in the first half. 48%. Yep. So that's a little concerning there. I'm not gonna lie. But all in all, Denver Jones kept them out of it and really sealed the deal. Now, we talked about the refs constantly reviewing things and constantly slowing the game down, it felt like, in the last few games. I'm going to put my conspiracy theorist hat on real quick. Ignore the fact that it is an Auburn hat, because but I had a theory kind of work up during this game. Auburn has beat teams by double digit in every game we've won this year. Okay, first time we've done that since
1942-43, and we only won one game that year.
Right. This is your stat. Sorry for stealing it. This is your stat. But you stole my position on something earlier in the show, so we're just gonna call that equal. But I think I wonder if the SEC was like, okay, Auburn is boat racing these teams too much. So if they start looking like they're going to get out away from people in the first half,
let's blow the whistle.
In the second half, let's start blowing the whistle. Let's take them out of their rhythm. Let's slow the game down. I don't care if you call fouls on both teams, but let's slow it down so that way no team can get in a rhythm, especially Auburn. Because they don't want us to win by 20 points every game like we were early on in the season.
It sure as crap felt like it.
It does. It's so
We had 21 fouls to Georgia's 17.
Oh, and I bet you they all came in the second half too.
Probably.
But outside of the fouls, when you are fouled, you get what's called a free throw. And you stand at a line, okay? And when you're at that line, nobody can block your shot. Nobody is going to defend your shot. Nobody is going to affect your shot. So you need to make your shot. And I honestly, at this point, I'm arguing for the Georgia fans also, because their team was just dog shit also. Shooting free throws.
56% from the free throw line. Are you kidding me? That's so bad. But Auburn only shot 60% from the line, so it's like tomato there.
Well, at halftime we were 2 for 7. 2 for 7. We were 25% from the free throw line. Come on. And Dylan Cardwell was not the person shooting all of our free throws, everybody. in case you were
No.
wondering. And so that was just abysmal. I could not get on board with the fact that we looked so terrible at shooting free throws. I hope Bruce is out there on the court with them right now
Shooting
and
free throws.
has every single player out there shooting free throws until they make 100 shots. Something. So Dylan Cardwell is going to be there all night, but
That's a bit excessive. 100 shots.
I,
That's a
it
bit
was a
excessive.
bad night, dude. It was a bad night. We would have killed them way more if we were making our shots.
Oh, obviously,
But
yeah.
but the thing is all of our other shots were going in. Okay, all of our other shots. Now
That's all that
here.
matters, dog.
So what was our percentage from three at the end of the game? Can you look that up for us real quick?
47.8.
47. Damn, dude.
47.8 from the three, and we shot 51.8 from the field. So I mean, like I said, again, you're not going to beat Auburn if they're shooting
No.
50% from the field and almost 50% from deep. So I mean,
So that's
this team is just coming on when they need to, and it's just
yeah.
glorious to watch. The
Five of
progression
the
of all these players has been insane throughout the season.
yeah. 5 of the last 7 games, we have shot more than 50% from the field.
Let's go.
You're not going to lose games when you do that. You're just not.
Nope.
You're just not.
Not unless the other team is just way more hot than you are,
Which
has been known to happen.
It can happen, but
I mean, Auburn was really hot against Tennessee, and Tennessee was just that much hotter.
yeah.
So I mean,
One
it's
player.
it's just great to see our team getting hot and staying hot.
Voldemort. Georgia senior night. It was great to see the seniors go out there perform. I think I'm gonna miss Dylan Cardwell a lot. I'm actually getting a little choked up because man, he is not Auburn's best player. He has never been Auburn's best player. But if you
He has Auburn's energy.
yeah. And if you want to show a picture of Auburn and say, can you show me a picture of what it is to be an Auburn man? That picture is Dylan Cardwell. That guy,
110%.
he supports the football team as much as the football team supports him during the season. He loves the crowd. He loves the students. He loves the fans. Dylan Cardwell, great career here at Auburn. Absolutely, positively one of my favorite players. He's going to be an all-time great. I don't think that anyone will ever change my mind. He is, for me, definitely a top 3 player in Auburn history because of what he
I would agree.
means for this team and what he's done for this team. And there's an Auburn athletics video out there where they're interviewing Dylan Cardwell, and he talks about his time here at Auburn. I would highly suggest everybody going out and watching that. You see him also get emotional at the very end, and he ends.
It's just pure love the entire video.
Yeah, and it ends with him just breaking down and just saying, "I love Auburn." And so these seniors on this team, the winningest seniors that we have ever had, Jalen Williams. You put out a graphic for with him that just really signifies what he has done while here at Auburn, and he has really stepped up this year. So I can't say enough good things about the way these seniors have performed this year, and kudos to what they've done here at Auburn while they've been here, and what they've done for the Auburn fan base is what I was gonna say. Yeah, thoughts, Josh. Do you have anything to add on that front?
I mean, how many players do you know, especially in Auburn history, that have played 138 games at Auburn and won 111 of them?
Yeah.
How many players can you say did that, as well as scoring over 1,200 points in his career? I mean, it's just astronomical. He has 53% career field goal percentage. That is elite status in my eyes. Yeah. Elite status. He's an Auburn legend for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss the crap out of all these seniors. I hope Leor Berman recovers quickly and is functional after his recovery. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is a special senior class that Auburn is losing. It's gonna be tough watching them next year because you're not going to see the guys you've been seeing the last 4 or 5 years. And so I mean,
Now,
I'm just excited for them and what the future brings.
is there any way Dylan Cardwell has a COVID year? I mean, there was a quarterback that had he was playing his seventh year of collegiate football. Is there any way we can get Dylan Cardwell back next year?
I mean, unless he fights for it, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. There's really no reason. He never was ever out for medical reasons, so he's doesn't qualify for a medical waiver. I mean, it sucks to lose him. He's definitely gone for good, Cameron.
Oh man.
Just just
And
come to terms with it.
And the thing is the commentators they were talking about Dylan Cardwell tonight as well, and I did not know this about him. Yes, he's probably going to play professionally overseas. I don't know if he's good enough to play in the NBA. If he is, fantastic, and he's going to be one of my favorite players in the NBA. But they were talking about how he plans on being somebody or what was it? Was it a reverend? He was gonna mentor a bunch of people. He just wanted to
Good for him.
he just wanted to give back to the community and be one of these people, these men that someone can look up to and just provide service to people. And so again, just speaks to the character and how great of a man Dylan Cardwell is. And so again, I can't say enough good things about him. So well,
Gonna miss you, bro.
so this is the final regular season game. Um, what would you grade the season as a whole, Josh? We're running up against our time, so probably can't spend too much time on this. We might talk about it some more after the SEC tournament. But what do you think this season's grade is on a A, B, and C scale?
I would grade it as a B plus or A minus. I mean, I think Auburn overachieved in a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of areas. There was a lot of unknowns coming into the
nobody
season
believed
with
in them.
Denver Jones and Chad Baker Mazzara coming into the fold. They were obviously successful where they came from, but this is a different level of competition. So I mean, I feel like we overachieved in a lot of areas. I think it's for the better, obviously. So I would give this team a solid B plus A minus.
Okay, all right. I think for the regular season, I think you got to give them an A, man. I love this team. We said it from the very beginning when we were watching the Baylor game, and I was just like, "This is gonna be a
It's gonna
fun
be a
team to
fun
watch."
season.
And they did not disappoint. When they won games, they won by double digits. When they lost games, they never gave up. We won every home game except for going up against the buzzsaw that is Kentucky now. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so this team, I absolutely, like you said, they overachieved. They were picked to finish sixth in the SEC. Sixth.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of unknowns. I mean, I feel like that was
Yeah, but
a
Bruce is
valid spot for
Bruce.
people to pick them at.
College
Yeah, Bruce is going to
basketball.
Bruce, and
Yeah, college basketball is about the
it,
coach.
it's well, unless you have Dalton Connect.
Can we just get away from this guy? I just, oh man. At least he didn't beat Kentucky, but then Kentucky won.
Yeah, right.
It's just a bad. I wish both teams would have lost that game. So yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we finished the season 24-7, 13-5 in the SEC. Scored 83 points a game. Fantastic, love it. We allowed 68 points a game. We shot 47% from the field. 47% from the field. Those are great numbers on the year.
Great.
3-point percentage could have been a little bit better. It's at 34. But speaking of that, though, I'm kind of skipping around on my notes here. But in the last 6 games, okay, because I'm counting Georgia. So before this, it was the last 5 games. We played Kentucky, at Georgia, at Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Missouri. And then we play Georgia again at home. And we are the number one 3-point shooting team in all of college basketball in the last 6 games. Okay.
That's
Okay.
impressive.
All right.
That's impressive.
You said that this team could was going to finish better and be better than that 2019 team. If they keep shooting
I
like
still
this,
think they
Josh,
can.
they definitely can. They
Yeah, I
definitely can.
definitely would say so. I mean, I am gonna walk back my grading a little bit. I would say they deserve an A or A minus instead of a B plus because, like you
Yeah.
said, they won every single one of their games that they won by double digits.
Yeah.
And again, Auburn's never done that before the 1942 season where they won one game. So I mean, it's just you can't claim that
No.
unless you actually do it, and not a lot of teams can actually claim that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This team is just super good on multiple levels. It's just very excited to watch them in these tournaments to see how much they actually have grown
Right.
because they're gonna show what their strengths and weaknesses are in these tournaments.
Yeah. So speaking of the tournaments, we got the SEC tournament coming up, um, and then we got the NCAA tournament. How is Auburn going to fare? Let's specifically talk about the SEC tournament. How are we going to fare in the SEC tournament, and what chances do we have at winning this thing? And will our performance in the SEC title or in the SEC tournament is that going to affect our seeding in the NCAA tournament? What do you think, Josh?
Here's my thoughts on this. I want them to get the title of SEC tournament champions,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I would be okay if they lost in the first round because it gives them more time to rest up for the actual tournament that matters. But
Not first round.
I mean, I think after the
Quarterfinal,
win today in Alabama
semifinal.
winning as well, I think we get the double bye,
We
so
do.
it wouldn't be the first round.
I mean,
We
like
do
the first round
play
we
South
play.
Carolina on Friday. Well, yeah, we do play South Carolina in our first game, so I
Nope.
mean that could be dangerous. We
Uh,
do. We play South Carolina.
South Carolina plays the winner of the 6 and 7 or 6 and 8 seed. I can't remember. Yeah, South
I'm pretty
Carolina is
sure.
playing. Yeah, South Carolina is playing somebody on Thursday, and then we'll play the winner of that game.
Could have swore I just saw that Auburn is playing South Carolina.
I'll let you look that up.
I mean, I'm
Um,
looking it up right now.
But the SEC tournament, it starts on the 13th and goes through the 17th. Um, the thing about Auburn and Bruce Pearl in the SEC tournament that's not super exciting and super that I'm super excited for. Um, Bruce Pearl's 9-6 at Auburn in the SEC tournament, and that's with a year that we didn't even qualify, or they canceled, not in 2020 because of COVID. So, um, he doesn't have a great track record in the SEC tournament, and again, that's with him winning 4 straight games in 2019. Without that 2019 team, which it's hard to. You can't discount it, but it goes a long way to improving his overall record in the tournament. So I'm just not sure what to expect coming out of this, to be perfectly honest.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't be mad if we won it all, but I also wouldn't be mad if we lost it in the first round we play. But you're right. We play South Carolina if they beat Arkansas or Vandy, which I'm pretty sure they're going to beat either one of those teams. Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, and Alabama all get the double bye,
Yeah.
which I'm not too excited about. But again,
Arkansas looked
I'm not going to be
mighty good
disappointed.
today.
But it was against Alabama, and Alabama has been falling apart the
They
back
kind
half of the season.
they kind of have, but they were able to finish off the game and win tonight. So they're not an easy out. So uh, I would definitely much rather South Carolina than Arkansas. I can tell you that much.
Why?
Uh, do you
Do you
forget the
remember what we
fact?
did in Arkansas?
Yeah, but do you remember the fact that we beat South Carolina by 40 points?
Yeah. Do you remember the fact we beat Arkansas by 30 plus?
But that
So I
was
mean,
without their
either
best
team is a
player.
good matchup to
That
me.
that was
Who gives a
without
crap?
Arkansas's best player who came back. He had them on the cusp of beating Alabama tonight. Arkansas is not the same team that they were when we boat raced them. They're just not. I would much rather South Carolina at this point. I really would. Um,
I think we can beat South Carolina, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lost in that round. That's That's
Yeah.
what I gotta say about the SEC. It doesn't. The tournament does not freaking matter.
Okay, so that leads us into the last part of my question. Is our performance in the SEC tournament going to affect our seeding?
Um, I would imagine. I don't think it would hurt or help our seeding. To be honest with you,
I think the only way it helps is if we win the whole thing. Um,
we might be bumped up one seed spot, but that's about it.
yeah, yeah,
Like I said, it's not really going to hurt or help Auburn.
yeah.
So again, the SEC tournament again just doesn't matter because the
Yeah.
SEC champion's already been crowned.
Well, the other thing is it's a stupid scheduling thing. I don't know why they play the SEC title game on Sunday. That's Selection Sunday. And so they play
That's
it a
dumb.
couple of hours before they announce it. So you know the seedings are already set at that
Yeah.
point. And so yeah, no, it's a stupid scheduling thing. I can't stand it. So I agree with you. I don't think it'll help or hurt. I just pray that we're not a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. I really do not want a 5 seed. Oh, the percentages, man. The percentages go way up of the possibility
Yep.
of us losing if we're a 5 seed. Um, so, and the last time we were a 5 seed, though, I will say, do you remember the last time we were a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament?
Of course I do.
So
Do
let's
you?
yeah, it was 2019. We went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
So I will. If it happens, it happens. Hopefully, we don't see New
We had a
Mexico
big
State.
time scare. Yeah, right. We had a big time scare in that first round. That was a
Yep.
fun game to attend.
Yep. And then it all came crashing down with a double dribble.
Those damn refs. We would have smacked Houston.
Yeah. Oh, so well. What a great season, Josh. What a great season.
Yes, yes. How far
And
do you think we go in March Madness, Cameron?
ooh, okay. Sweet 16.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
say I
call it.
think we lose in the Sweet 16.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna say that, and now I really do hope that we go farther, but Sweet 16 I think is where we're gonna land here.
Yeah, I would
Um,
I would agree with you.
Fingers crossed they come to Salt Lake City, and if so,
Fingers
we'll be
crossed that
there.
Bama loses in the round of 64.
Yeah, I definitely want that. Definitely want that. So, well, everybody, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. We're trying to get our views up and
Press the
trying
like button.
to, yes, trying to build this content. Just make sure that you are tuned in. We got more stuff coming to you. But for
Every week.
now, Josh, War Eagle,
More Eagle.
War Eagle, everyone. Have a good night.